Hello my friends, and a very warm welcome back to my painting channel. And in this video I have finally gotten around to doing the Q&A that I had promised a little while back. So I put out on my YouTube channel asking for a Q&A, asking you guys to give me a few questions about hobby related things, and I said I'd try to answer them. Now I wanted to try to do something a little bit different with this video, so what I've tried to do is show you off my display cabinet and a few of the models and things that I've painted over the years, and at the same time answer a few of the questions that you've given me. So enjoy having a look through my display and having a look through some of the models and things like that. If there's anything there that isn't painted yet that you'd like to see painted, then by all means give me a shout in the comment section below and tell me, why haven't you painted this? It's about time you paint this on the channel, and so on and so on. So without further ado, I'm just going to get straight into it. So I've had a few different questions of a couple of different people, and the first ones I'm going to address are from Adam Moore. Now Adam Moore asked me, what got you into painting? Now a few years ago I got into painting when I was very young, at about 14, and I was a really bad painter because back then we didn't have the same supplies and the same equipment and the same things that we can do now. Now I took a very long time away from painting miniatures, and eventually a friend of mine said, have you gotten back into, or have you seen painting miniatures? And I said, I used to love playing Warhammer and things back in the day, but I haven't done so for a long time. And so he kind of gradually got me back into painting, and that was a few years ago. So whereas you say, how long have you been painting, which was the second question, I started back in the hobby in about 2017, so it's been about 5 years worth of painting and about 5 years worth of different kinds of styles. Another one that you've asked, Adam, was, do I have an artistic background? And actually, I went to art college to study graphic design because I wanted to be a graphic design artist. I wanted to do comic books and storyboarding for movies and things like that. So I actually do a lot of sketching and things in my free time. And I create a lot of characters and things for comic books or cartoons that don't actually exist because I just enjoy that sort of thing. That's actually how I met my wife. We met in art college. So yeah, that was quite an interesting little thing, side tangent there for you as well. You also asked, what games do I play? What war games? As you can see from my display cabinet, I play a little bit of a mixture of different games. So the ones that I've played the most is Blood Bowl and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I haven't yet got into 40k, but I am painting a few models for myself and a friend so that we can play that together. I've also painted a bolt action army. I have a combination of Polish-British because I have two grandparents. One is Welsh. My Welsh grandfather served in the tank regiment, which I'll show you a model that I built dedicated to him later. And my other grandfather was Polish. He actually survived prisoner of war camps in the Second World War, and then he came over into Britain. So I have a really sort of strong tie between British or Welsh and Polish. So that's quite an interesting one there as well. So you say, what's a must-have in your painting itinerary? That's a really good one. There's a bit of a mixture of different things, actually. Obviously paints and brushes and things like that. But probably one of my favorite things is things like flow improver. Helps to allow the paint to move smoother onto your miniatures. Also, I really love a good matte varnish at the end of painting, because once you've finished painting your models, putting a matte varnish on your models, it ties the colors together, and it really does create a really lovely finish to your models. It also protects them for when you're playing those games as well. So that's something that that's worth looking into. You say, is there a colour you loathe to paint? Actually, no. I'm quite a strange one, because I actually enjoy painting the colours that people hate. So I love getting yellow colours to really pop and burst. I really love painting skin, which I know a lot of people don't for some reason. But I think that's just something that you sort of gradually progress and grow into as you paint a little bit more, you know. The more you paint, the better you become, and you become a lot more confident with things as well. You say, what's been your favourite and least favourite models to paint? That's a really good question. I think there's a couple of different favourites that I've had. So I've enjoyed painting things like, I painted Cloud Strife on the channel. I really enjoyed painting that one for the non-metallic metals. I really enjoyed painting the Fellowship of the Ring so that I could create a display for that to go into my cabinet. That was also really fun. Least favourite is things that I actually don't enjoy putting together more than painting. I actually really enjoy painting a lot of different things. But when it comes to putting models together, I think some of the Spirit Host models from the Games Workshop range are a nightmare to put together. Some Malifaux models can be really, really small and fiddly. They can be quite difficult to put together as well. So that would be about it. Photography tips. I did make a little video on how to do basic photography, which was worth checking out. But tips-wise, as in any photography, a good light will always see you through. You always need good lighting. Everything else you can kind of work on from there. So cool. On to the next one. Mariano Castria. I hope I said that right. You had 2 questions for me, which was how many models have you painted so far? I hope that by looking through the display cabinet and some of my boxes that I've got in storage, you can kind of see how many models that we've painted, or that I've painted myself and that I've practiced with and learned with and things like that. You also said how many minis did it take for you to achieve the level of details you currently have? A lot is the short answer. I paint a lot, but as I've said in previous videos, a really good thing to do is to use your bits box as a tool for painting models that maybe you might struggle with. So if you struggle with skin and in your bits box from an army you've got a lot of heads, practice on the heads. If you struggle with hair, again, practice on the heads. Use those things, use that bits box to kind of increase and encourage and develop your painting, but also to give you more confidence in painting as well. So thanks for those 2, Mariano. Those are great questions. And moving on to my 3rd one, which is Mohawks and Tomahawks, who is a channel legend here. This guy has been here since the beginning, and he offers so many lovely comments, and also offers some really great questions for others to learn from as well. So you've asked, what does my hobby display shelf look like? So just kind of showing you the videos here. You've also said, what does your painting station look like? Paint and brush collection. Well, that is something that is difficult for me to show because my work desk and paint desk are the same. So it's kind of, you'll have to trust me on this. It's called organized chaos is what I like to call it, which means everything is everywhere, but I know where it all is. So I know kind of where each paint I need is. I know which brush I need. I know where they are, but they are just a little bit all over the place. I don't keep a sort of direct or specific system. I'm not very good with that sort of thing. So especially with this kind of sort of hobbying and things like that. You said, do you have a get ready to paint ritual or routine before you start? Sometimes yes, it's difficult on times because you kind of want to paint something, you get so excited you just want to paint it as fast as possible, and you don't sort of think of a routine beforehand. You don't kind of think it through or think your colours through, you just dive onto the model. So sometimes I like to sort of plan my paints or plan my shades and things. I normally get a bunch of my paints together. Say if I'm painting green, I'll get sort of a dark, middle, highlight, and then I'll kind of work my way out around there before I sort of paint on the model. So I kind of visualize it first and then go for it a little bit later, which is a really good question. There's no sort of Zen art sort of meditation or anything like that beforehand. You don't have to build yourself up. The idea is to be a little bit patient and sort of give yourself a little bit of time to kind of think about what your next project is going to be and working on it from there. Another one, which was, how do you choose what project to tackle next when undecided? Now that is a very difficult one. Looking through the models that I've collected, you'll see that I do have a lot of unfinished projects. I do get caught in the situation of when I have something new, I tend to feel like I need to jump into it, sort of feet first, and then I kind of run out of steam a little bit. This is why I dedicated the channel to painting sort of one model at a time or 5 models at a time and things like that, because I find it easier to paint in bursts rather than to paint all in one. I'm actually not very good at doing sort of big, large-scale armies, because I just find doing the same thing over and over and over and over does really bore me. So when it comes to thinking about what project next, I try to do something different so that it becomes a palette cleanser, meaning that you can paint something that's so different that it just breaks up doing the monotonous same sort of blue color on all of your Space Marines and things like that, as an example. You say, how do you choose your designs and colours? Well, kind of, like I say, the same sort of thing that I was saying earlier. You just kind of get a few paints together and you kind of visualise what paints you'd think, and you kind of think about the contrasts. So if I'm painting really dark sort of parts to a model, do I want some parts that are really nice and bright and vibrant, or what colours will stand out off others? Things like the colour wheel and the colour charts will come in handy for that. So sometimes if you're painting things that are all green, having a little bit of red on them would work really, really well. If you take a look at the Blood Bowl things in my little video here, you'll notice that the rot spawn, I painted them with green shorts, really, really light pale skin. But then I also added a lot of like red boils and things like that, because they really pop on that green then, because they're the opposites on the colour wheel. So you shouldn't be sort of, or they say, you know, the whole red and green shouldn't be seen and all of this nonsense. But it actually works really well, and it works really well from sort of like a photography point of view as well. So yeah, that can help. You say, what was your favourite model to paint? Actually, I think probably one of my favourite, all-time favourites was, I followed back when I first started, Duncan's painting techniques from the Warhammer TV, and I painted my large model of Nagash, and that was my first ever giant model that I painted, which you would have seen in the video that I'm showing you here. And because that was the first one that I had such success with, and it came out so good, it'll always have a place in my heart. It'll always be one of my favourites for that. And you say, what is your most prized or favourite finished model of all time? That kind of follows into that same question. So yeah, the Nagash is definitely one of my favourites. It's an absolute beast of a model, and it is fantastic. And like I say, it's one of the first ones I finished to that degree as well. So yeah, that's all of the questions that you guys asked. Like I say, if there's anything in the video that you see that I haven't painted yet, that you'd like to see me paint, give me a shout. I can't promise that I'll paint it immediately, but I will happily sit down and go through a few different techniques and show you sort of how I've painted those different things on another video. There was also one other quick question that was asked, which was, do I ever paint for commissions? And this is something that is really important as well. Although I'm showing you a lot of models and miniatures on this video, not all of them are mine. So some of the models that you see here, some of the armies and things that you see here, are actually commissions for other people. So I paint Blood Bowl teams for a good friend. I also paint in a full German army for a friend. A lot of the Malifaux models are for a friend. So a lot of the models that I'm painting, I paint for others, and in that way I get to practice and learn myself as well. Like I say, I enjoy just painting. I got no interest in being a celebrity or anything. I just enjoy to paint models, and I enjoy to share little tips and things with the community to help sort of pass that knowledge on and kind of allow you guys to enjoy painting just as much as I do. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me the questions and for all of your positivity and support. If you like the channel, if you like the video, then please just give me a thumbs up, and we'll see the channel grow. Thank you as always, my friends. Please take care, and I will see you guys on the next one.